Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about everything, well, most things, Dracthyr for Warlock, which is going to be an option this coming Tuesday, the 22nd, when Warlock expands to Dracthyr. Now, we're going to be looking at sims, utility, racials, and trying to cover mostly everything in this video that might make you want to maybe play a Dracthyr, swap to a Dracthyr, both for like M+ utility, raid utility, and just general, hey, why not be a lizard? If you guys want any leak auras, add-ons, profiles, or even links to the sims in this video, down below in the description, leak auras and all that on my website, Twitch as well as Discord, and all of that. I'm not saying that I'm swapping to an evoker, but after seeing the sims and just their general utility, especially on Queen Ansarek, which is hopefully in my future, I might be considering that swap more than I thought. So let's get into it. Now, a cool thing that happened here is that about 8 days ago, Angelin wrote a really cool article about Dracthyr coming to other classes in patch 11.0.5 for Wowhead. Now, he's going into detail here explaining the actual racials, as well as what's changed from being a Dracthyr evoker to Dracthyr hunters, mages, priests, rogues, warlocks, or I guess, and warriors. Now, the first thing here, they've changed some of their racials. So you currently both have tail swipe and wing buffet as far as like baseline Dracthyr racials go for, currently just evoker in patch 11.0. With patch 11.0.5, we are obviously Dracthyr is becoming available to other classes here. They are making tail swipe an evoker only ability. A 1.5-minute cooldown, lash out with your tail, knocking enemies within 8 yards into the air. Non-evoker Dracthyr will not have access to tail swipe. However, you will have access to wing buffet, also a 1.5-minute cooldown. A powerful flap of your wings, whatever, knocking away enemies in front of you. So having basically a knock away versus a knock up. I guess hitting a bit of evoker, or I guess more so Dracthyr utility when it comes to Mythic Plus. Certain knockups or knockbacks also are required from raiding and things in certain settings. So I think it's sort of fair, still giving like evokers that more niche utility, which is what Dracthyr was initially built around, being evoker based. Not a big deal. Even putting aside tail swipe, you still have access to Soar, Awakened, Visage Form, Discerning Eye, Wing Buffet, and Glide. Now, a couple things have changed with Glide. We'll get to Awakened here in a minute as well. Glide for non-evokers. So the classes that were listed here, Warriors, Warlocks, Rogues, Priest, Mage, and Hunter, they have changed the way Glide functions speed-wise, looking at patch 11.0.5 for non-evokers. For evokers, Glide has an 80% movement speed increase, which is massive. I would have said this too, actually, good wording. For non-evokers, however, this increase has been reduced to 43%. There's a really cool video here as well, which shows regular run speed. Once again, credit to Wowhead, not me. Regular run speed, non-evoker Dracthyr run speed. So right here, this is going to be like Warlocks, Mages, Warriors, the new Dracthyr classes. You can even see a Voidwalker here behind this character, and evokers themselves. So we have like regular characters being here, non-evoker Dracthyrs, and then evokers being full-on Dracthyr. You can see the actual speed increase when we play this video right now. So regular run speed, non-evoker Dracthyr, and evoker. You can see the checkpoint here basically being, I don't know what that was. You can see the checkpoint here basically being like, this line in like the road, essentially, right? There's a timestamps down below as well. It's pretty easy to see the evoker is the fastest one here, followed by non-evoker Dracthyrs, and regular run speed being a little slower. Am I gonna hop around all the time? It's gliding? Not really, but it's still relevant for classes that are a bit less mobile. It mentions it here, Priest or Hunter's Trailblazer effects. This is just straight up a solid movement speed increase, which is very solid to see. And good in general. Now, on top of that, you've got fall damage protection, which is, big. You've also got knockback protection. Now, this might not seem like as impactful, but it actually is pretty impactful. A great example of knockback protection. This is my stream here. So we've got an evoker over here, Spooky Evoker. There's a couple of them in the raid. It's sort of hard to see here, but a great example of how you can use Glide utility is when it comes to knockback effects, pull effects, things like that. For example, here comes Queen Ansarek. We're in the first mission here. The boss is going to pull us in with her, I forgot the ability's name, it's like Rot, Wreath, something like that. The actual tethers are coming out right now. She begins her cast here, Rest. So over here is our evoker. It's behind my raid frames, a little hard to see, but what you can do here as an evoker, I confirmed this with Lucy and everything else who played evokers here in progression. Once this rest cast goes off and pulls you in, the whole raid gets pulled in. I get pulled and circle back. Our evoker is sitting over here. This is his tether right here. I believe this is his tether right here. It is. He's just chilling right there. All you do, just hop, just glide. It negates the pull-in. To a similar extent, the further we go on here, I mean, you can do it with every single rest cast here. You can also just straight up do it in the actual intermission of this phase, right? Or I guess phase 2, depending on how you want to word it with the actual knock to platforms here. You are pulled both on heroic and mythic to the edge of the platform. To a similar extent, the evoker's right here. You'll notice that when the pull comes in a moment or so, he hovers around like the back of the room here. Hover, pun half intended there. He hangs out in the back half of the room here, right there. Pull comes in. We all get pulled. He's chilling right there. He got pulled a bit. He can just glide that a bit early and basically negate that pull. And it's not just M plus or rating versus relevant. There's certain things at M plus I'm sure versus relevant. The move speed increase also relevant. It's just a solid all around bit of utility to have without really, losing a whole lot of other relevancy. You still have Wing Buffet, which is very relevant in M plus, other things like that. It's just really solid all around. Now, the last question, I guess, thing I want to get to here, obviously, you have Soar, which is like a bit of fly around RP kind of stuff if you want it. Visage form, you can be in Dracthyr form or regular form if you want all the time. Discerning Eye gives you a bit of perception increase. Not that big of a deal, like in the lot, really, but hey, it's sort of cool, I guess. Wing Buffet, Glide are the two big ones here for utility, as well as Awakened. Awakened increases your mastery by, I think it changes based on like your specs. Some specs gain more mastery, like Affliction gains more for Warlock compared to Destro and Demo from raw mastery contribution. Currently, it gives me 1.5% as Dev, 0.3 as Aug, and something else as Preservation. I don't know, but it gives you more bonus mastery. Now, the question might be, if you're playing a Warlock, you can send this for your own class as well by going in and just changing it in raid bots and such. Your question might be, okay, how much, if I'm playing a Warlock, of an actual loss is this compared to some of the higher simming ratios, right? You have typically Orc and Mechanome being the higher ones. Troll's good in certain spots. Humans fine. All the above. I have run Sims here. So, starting off with Affliction Warlock, this is my current character. Orc and Mechanome are basically interchangeable. I mean, for the most part, one and the same. Just to clarify, or confirm here, we are playing Orc here, Mechanome right here. And we're looking at Dracthyr right here. Now, the difference here is about 13k DPS, which is not nothing, but keep in mind we're also doing 1.25 million DPS right now. You're looking at about a 1% DPS loss, which is, there is some relevance there, but the utility that Dracthyr brings, being able to, I keep calling it hover, but glide, negate those pull-ins, especially on a fight like Queen Anshrek, right? Where you might lose 1% overall damage, but negating multiple mechanics, all that, could be relevant both in rating and M+. To a similar extent, also having an ability like Wing Buffet, being able to knock enemies basically away on a 1.5 cooldown, very strong. A lot of solid utility, and the movement speed just the glide brings in general, also pretty solid. Looking at Destruction Warlock next, Dracthyr honestly is not that far off. Now you can play Mechanome as far as Destro Lock's concerned for the highest overall gain here. I can gain about 5k or so playing this, using my own Sims too, not like BIS profiles or anything. But comparatively to Orc, Dracthyr is only 7.5k DPS behind, a 0.6% DPS loss. For those that are rating a bit, Destruction is basically the go-to mythic progression spec for Queen Anshrek, which brings the question, is Dracthyr actually worth the swap on Anshrek, being able to negate all those rest pull-ins in the first intermission, in phase 2? Hard to say, but the movement speed increase also nice with hover. It's possible that Dracthyr is something you should really consider if you're already playing an Orc or something along those lines, right? Gaining 5.3k comparatively to losing 7.5k, but negating the pull-ins and the rest and such, honestly might just be more relevant being a Dracthyr, depending where you're at. And as far as Demonology is concerned, more of a drop-off here. Orc is very strong for Demonology because you have the pet damage ratios. You obviously have Blood Fury lining up. Fury, I know. With like Tyrants and all that, but Dracthyr, a 20k loss being at 1.6%, but at the same time, it's cool being a lizard and summoning demons. And honestly, if none of this has sold you on Dracthyr, which is not totally my job today, but selling you on Dracthyr, at least made you consider it. The best part about Dracthyr, come on, what's not to love here? Thanks for watching, guys. It wraps it up, and hopefully it answered any questions you might have had about Dracthyr Warlock heading into this Tuesday, the 22nd of October, and patch 11.0.5. Like I said, I'm not sure if I'm going to go I guess Dracthyr. I keep calling it Evoker, but Dracthyr when the patch hits. But the utility it brings is solid, honestly. Like, Glide is pretty solid. Its baseline mastery is not terrible. It's not as great as like Orc or the higher racials, but utility is big too. It's not just raw damage in the end. And looking at like progression on Queen Ansharek, M plus utility. I mean, Glide is good outside of just Queen Ansharek too, like basically negating knockbacks, the pulls, and just in a lot of settings too. Plus, M plus that it brings, the utility there is not bad. So we'll see where it goes. I haven't decided yet, but if you guys are on the fence about it, hopefully this video helps you guys decide one way or another. Weekly Warcraft add-ons profiles, links to Twitch and Discord down below if you want them. They're all for free for you guys. Before we end the video as well, like always, a massive shout out to my patrons. We're also put on Patreon. Like always, thank you all so much. It lets me keep doing what I'm doing for y'all, making content, and without y'all support, I wouldn't be able to. So I greatly appreciate it. Thank you all so much. If you're looking at supporting on Patreon, should be a link up here, as well as down below in the video description. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little apprehensive about leaving a little bit of DPS on the table. But like I said, if I get a chance to play Kalazard's appearance, my naked evoker on my main warlock, my main character, I keep saying evoker once again, Dracthyr, whatever you want to call it, I'm gonna consider it. So we'll see where it goes. Not sure, but figure it out. Check by the stream on Tuesday. We'll decide together collectively. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you again soon on stream. Peace.